Have you ever had a hunch that someone really likes you, but for some reason, they just won't say it? Maybe he acts differently when you're around, more quiet, more awkward, or even a little too confident. You can feel something in the way he looks at you, the way he lingers, or the way he always seems to show up. But still, nothing is ever said. Here's the truth: not every man is comfortable expressing his feelings. In fact, many guys are terrified of rejection. Others don't want to risk looking vulnerable, or simply don't know how to put their emotions into words. So instead of saying "I like you," they speak in a different language, through small, subtle behaviors that, if you know what to look for, can reveal everything. In this video, we're going to decode that language. I'll walk you through 10 signs that he's totally crushing on you, but is just too scared to admit it. Some signs might seem confusing at first, but trust me, they're more revealing than words. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, is this something more, or am I just imagining it? Stay tuned. You're about to see the truth, hidden in plain sight. Let me ask you something: have you ever caught someone looking at you, but the second your eyes meet, he quickly looks away like nothing happened? That's not random. When a man is crushing on you but doesn't have the courage to say it, his eyes often betray him before his words ever will. He'll glance your way, thinking you won't notice. His gaze might linger when he assumes you're not paying attention. It's like something about you pulls his attention, even if he tries to fight it. And here's the real giveaway: if you catch him staring and he suddenly looks nervous, fidgets, or blushes, that's his secret spilling out without him realizing it. Why is this important? Because eye contact is one of the most instinctive human behaviors. We don't stare at people we're indifferent to, we glance at them, then move on. But when someone keeps looking your way, especially when you're not looking, it usually means there's something deeper going on. So the next time you catch him looking, don't just brush it off. You might be seeing his feelings, loud and clear, even if he's too afraid to speak them. Have you ever had someone bring up something you said weeks ago, something even you forgot you mentioned? Like your favorite coffee flavor, a book you loved as a kid, or a random story you told in passing? If he's remembering those little details, that's not just a good memory. That's interest. Real interest. When a man likes you but isn't ready to say it out loud, he shows it in subtle ways. And one of the biggest is how closely he listens. He's not just hearing you, he's absorbing what matters to you. Your habits, your likes, your quirks. They stick with him. Why? Because they're part of who you are. And he cares. Sometimes he'll even use those memories as a bridge, like texting you, "Hey, didn't you say you love caramel lattes? I just found a place that makes them with oat milk." Sounds casual, but it's intentional. We remember what matters. And if he's recalling your smallest stories or preferences, it means you matter to him. So pay attention, not just to what he says, but what he remembers. Have you ever noticed a guy who seems totally composed, until you walk into the room? Suddenly, he's fidgeting with his hands, stumbling over words he normally says with ease, or even dropping things like his coordination just gave up. It's not that he's naturally clumsy. It's that you change the energy for him. When a man has feelings he's too afraid to admit, nervousness often takes the wheel. His usual confidence starts to shake. Not because he doesn't want to impress you, but because he really does. And when the stakes feel high, the pressure to get it right makes every move feel 10 times harder. He might overthink what to say, second-guess a joke, or try so hard to act normal that it ends up looking, well, the opposite. But that's what makes this sign so honest. Nervousness is tough to fake. And when it shows up only around you, it usually means his heart is in the room, even if his words haven't caught up yet. So the next time he gets a little awkward in your presence, don't dismiss it. That might just be his feelings speaking louder than he ever could. Now let's flip the script. Not every guy gets quiet when he's into you, some do the exact opposite. Ever noticed a man suddenly become the funniest guy in the room the moment you show up? Or maybe he starts teasing you, playfully challenging you like you're the only one who matters? That's not just personality, it's strategy. When a man has feelings he's too afraid to admit, he sometimes hides behind humor or over-the-top confidence. It's his way of saying, "Look at me," without having to actually say, "I like you." He may act more bold, even a little cocky, not because he's arrogant, but because he's trying to impress you without revealing how much he actually cares. It's a kind of emotional armor. Humor becomes the safe middle ground. It entertains, creates connection, but doesn't require vulnerability. But here's what's really going on underneath: he's nervous. He wants to be memorable. He wants to stand out. And while it may seem like he's putting on a show, it's often fueled by a genuine desire to be seen by you. So the next time he makes you laugh just a little too hard or seems to perform when you're near, look beyond the act. Sometimes that spotlight is just a cover for a heart that's trying to reach yours. Have you ever noticed someone who just always seems to be around? You bump into him at your favorite coffee shop. He suddenly joins the same gym. Or he randomly shows up at the weekend market you've mentioned once in passing. At first, it might feel like coincidence, but when it keeps happening, it's probably not. When a guy is crushing on you but too scared to say it, he'll often find quiet, clever ways to be near. He might not confess his feelings, but he'll find excuses to orbit your world. Maybe he's just checking out this new bookstore you love. Or suddenly he's into hiking, because you are. It's not that he's stalking you. It's that being close to you feels like the safest way to connect without risking rejection. He wants to be part of your environment, to blend in, without putting you or himself in a vulnerable position. The real sign is this: he doesn't try to dominate your attention. He just wants to be near it. So the next time someone keeps accidentally showing up where you are, consider this: it might not be chance. It might be someone who's hoping you'll notice, without him ever having to say a word. Have you ever brought up another guy in conversation, and suddenly, his whole vibe shifts? Maybe he looks away. His smile fades. Or he casually changes the subject like he didn't even hear you. That reaction? It's not random, it's revealing. When a man secretly likes you but hasn't admitted it, hearing about another guy, even in passing, can trigger an emotional reaction. He may not confront it directly, but the discomfort shows. Some guys try to play it cool, maybe tossing out a joke like, "Oh, that guy? You could do better." Others go quiet, unsure how to process their own jealousy without exposing how they feel. What's really happening here is a silent tug-of-war between his emotions and his fear. He wants to express something, but he's not ready to cross that line. So instead of saying, "It bothers me because I like you," he retreats behind awkward pauses or forced humor. But make no mistake, his silence says more than any confession ever could. When a guy reacts that strongly to other men in your life, it's not indifference. It's interest, wrapped in hesitation. Ever notice how some guys just can't give a straightforward compliment? Instead of saying, "You look amazing today," he goes with something like, "Wow," trying to impress someone. It sounds like a joke, but there's always something underneath. When a man is into you but afraid to show it, he often hides his admiration behind humor. Not because he doesn't mean it, but because saying it plainly feels too vulnerable. That playful teasing? It's not random. It's a safer way for him to connect without exposing too much of how he really feels. Think about it: he notices your new haircut, your outfit, your energy. And instead of coming out with, "You look beautiful," he wraps it in a joke. It's like a shield. He wants to connect, but he's afraid of getting hurt or rejected. So he keeps it light. But don't dismiss it. Those backhanded compliments often carry more sincerity than the polished ones. If he's consistently noticing you, teasing in a way that makes you smile, chances are, he's trying to tell you how much he cares, without saying it out loud. So next time he says something cheeky, Look past the punchline. The message might be sweeter than it sounds. Have you ever noticed how he always shows up when you need something, without being asked? Whether it's carrying something heavy, offering advice after a rough day, or just checking in with a simple "how are you holding up?" He's there. Not because it's convenient, but because he wants to be. That kind of quiet reliability is one of the strongest, yet most overlooked, signs of genuine affection. He may not say, "I care about you" outright, but his actions speak loud and clear. He shows it in the way he puts your needs ahead of his own, even when it's out of his way or outside his comfort zone. It's not about grand gestures. It's about consistency, presence, the kind of care that doesn't ask for attention or praise, it simply shows up. Every time. And here's the thing, men who feel deeply often express it through doing, not saying. So if he's the one you find beside you when things go wrong, the one who remembers what matters to you, the one who helps without hesitation, that's not random. That's devotion, quietly disguised as support. Because love, real love, doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes, it's the steady hand you didn't even realize was holding you up. Have you ever gotten a message from him that felt kind of random? Like, "Hey, this made me think of you." Or, "Just bored, what are you up to?" There's no real question, no real reason, just a gentle tap on your attention. When a guy likes you but isn't ready to say it out loud, texting becomes his safe zone. It's how he stays connected, without putting his heart too far out on the line. He's not trying to confess anything. Not yet. But he does want to keep that door open. Keep you in his orbit. Keep the energy between you alive. Even if it's subtle. And if you look closer, you'll notice, he's not just texting anyone. He's texting you. Consistently. Casually. Like he's hoping something more will unfold, but doesn't want to risk scaring you off. These messages may seem pointless on the surface, but underneath, they're loaded with intention. They're little windows into what he wishes he could say. If only he had the courage. So the next time you get that totally random text, pause for a second. Because it might be more than just a message. It might be his quiet way of saying, "I want to be part of your world." Have you ever had someone notice something about you before you even said a word? Maybe you didn't feel like yourself that day, but somehow he sensed it. Maybe you wore a different color, changed your hair, or your voice carried a little extra weight, and he picked up on it right away. When a man quietly observes the small things others miss, that's not coincidence. That's emotional awareness. That's interest. That's care. He may not say much, but he's watching, not in a creepy way, but in a way that says, "I see you. All of you." He notices your moods shift. He hears the difference in your tone. He remembers what you wore last week. Why? Because when someone matters to you, the details do too. This kind of attention isn't surface level. It's not about compliments, it's about connection. It means he's not just attracted to your looks, but in tune with your presence, your energy, your emotional rhythm. And sometimes, the person who says the least, feels the most. So if you've ever wondered whether he's paying attention, look no further than the subtle moments, because those quiet observations, that's where true feelings hide. So here's the truth, not every man is going to say, "I like you" out loud. But that doesn't mean the feeling isn't there. For some guys, expressing emotions isn't easy. Fear of rejection, vulnerability, or even just not knowing how to say it can hold them back. But their actions? They often tell the story that words can't. If you've recognized 4 or more of the signs we've talked about today, chances are, it's not just friendship. It's something deeper, something growing beneath the surface that he may not have the courage to admit just yet. The glances, the nervousness, the quiet attentiveness, they're all pieces of an unspoken confession. So what can you do? Pay attention. Watch for the signals. Sometimes love doesn't knock loudly, it whispers through everyday moments. Through the way he shows up, listens, remembers, and quietly cares. Because the heart doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes it speaks in presence, in energy, in the subtle ways someone chooses to stay close, even when they don't quite know how to say why. So next time you're wondering where you stand, try listening not just with your ears, but with your intuition. Because love often speaks most clearly when you read between the lines.